Welcome to the exciting rebirth of Superstar, featuring choose your membership rate as low as just $3 a month. At Superstar, you get expanded, exclusive video scopes each and every week, unlimited access to special horoscopes, class passes for Synchronicity University, consultations with me, and so much more. All of this in the Superstar space. I look forward to meeting you there. Hello, fabulous friends, fans, and superstars. Welcome to your horoscope for the week of July 10, 2022. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here. It is a remarkable astrological week, without a doubt. Big moves happening in the sky now. And of course, the big news this week, I think the most dominant energy now is going to be this week's full moon. The full moon happens on Wednesday. It is in the sign of Capricorn, and it is close in the sky with Pluto. Now, keep in mind that along with this conjunction with Pluto, somewhat wide conjunction, but a connection nonetheless, we do have harmonious alignments with Uranus and with Neptune. And so as I look at these, I feel like archetypally, just the fact that this full moon, a symbol of us being at the height of our emotion, is so close in the sky to Pluto, a symbol that has to do with intensity, but it also has to do with diving into the depths of ourselves. It has to do with understanding our true motivations and looking at the truth, even if it's hard. Acknowledging where it is perhaps that we need to take greater ownership for what we experience, but at the same time, acknowledge where it is that parts of our experiences have created pain. And now, what can we do about it? What power do we have to identify it and to own the power, whatever it may be? It is Pluto that is god of the underworld, right? The ancient god Hades, Pluton, and ultimately he has been an invitation to go deeply within, to understand the depths of the psyche and to understand those things that pull us in. There's something irresistible about obsession. Even if we know it isn't good for us, we can't help but become obsessed about those things that perhaps either we're learning from or learning through, or in some way validate some part of ourselves. But of course, the real potential and the real gift comes when we're able to acknowledge the patterns that are playing out right now. We can't do anything about the pains of the past, whether we created it or whether it is that it was perpetrated towards us. But we can do something about how we're going to move forward today. And it is remarkable how we might have a moment where we're able to identify a pattern. We're able to identify how it is that we are repeating a previous scenario because it's familiar, because in some way it validates a previous experience. But when it is that we're able to acknowledge that perhaps we are in a moment where we are accepting less than ideal treatment, less than loving treatment, to be able to identify it and to be able to say, no more. I am now going to create a whole new pattern. I'm no longer willing to live this again, or live this story, or go through this again, or walk this path with you, whether it's with the same person or the 10th person or the 100th person. To say that you deserve kindness and love, and anything beneath that just doesn't work for you anymore, that is quite self-aware on the one hand, but it's also quite the revolt. It's a revolt against our conditioning. In many ways, Pluto shows us the way towards what our deepest conditioning just might be, and how it is that we can change it, how it is that we might bring it to awareness and thereby turn the pains of the past into a strength of some kind. And I think that we have that willingness to do that work now under the light of this full moon. On the one hand, we have got Neptune sextile. So a sextile is a harmonious alignment, and it represents opportunity. It gives us a chance to cultivate, whether that's a personal experience, a personal realization, or in a more practical sense, through our action to transform our circumstances. With Neptune, it's about cultivating hope, cultivating faith, questioning our faith to make sure that it's a faith that works for us. But then we've also got a supremely harmonious alignment with Uranus, and that is something I am so encouraged by here. That supremely harmonious alignment with Uranus says breakthroughs. It says leaps into the future. It says that we embrace a more evolved version of ourselves. And we're asking other people, places, things, situations to match us there, to meet us there. And if they can't, that just isn't going to work for us anymore. This leap into the future is ultimately a leap towards greater equality, yes, but it means greater equality for you as well. It means recognizing that all of you is valid as you are. It's about recognizing that there's something within you that is bright, that is perspective, that has an ability to understand. And to understand the self is the most powerful understanding that is really possible. Because when you understand yourself, you're able to consciously choose the life that you create from there. And this is nothing less than a massive leap in consciousness that can change the way we understand how our lives are set up. The sign of Capricorn is sort of like the skeleton of society, yes, of the world, yes, of power structure, certainly. But think about how we internalize these energies. The ways in which we define and understand success are going to be uniquely our own, but are certainly informed by so many different forces. They're informed by societal norms, depending on where we are in the world, where we've been, where we come from. It's dependent on our families as well and the messaging that we receive there. And so imagine now being able to see through those structures in your own life that limit you, that weigh you down, that have felt unfair, and deciding that you're going to go a different way. To the best of your ability, you are going to choose something that feels more centered in heart, centered in honoring who you are, centered in your unique definition of success and no one else's. That is revolutionary. That is revolt. To say it doesn't matter what anyone else says about what success is. I'm going to define it for myself, and I'm going to acknowledge where I already have it. That is part of a full moon. Full moons give us the opportunity to admit some truth, an emotional truth that has been there all along. Perhaps it's been there in front of us. We just haven't really wanted to see it or accept it or understand its deeper significance. And then the full moon comes and we just can't help it. It's clear as if it were under the light of the full moon. We admit the truth of what we feel. We admit the truth of what's working and what isn't. And especially under the light of this full moon, we're seeing both very clearly. What's working, what isn't, but also faith. Faith in ourselves, faith in our future, that's Uranus. But faith in a wise and loving universe, that's Neptune. And that's part of the skills that we can cultivate now. We can cultivate magic. That is also part of Neptune. It'll take our intention. It'll take our willingness to recognize the magic playing out. But if we decide that we're going to surrender the parts of this energy that we have no control over, that's the Pluto conjunction. Pluto will make you very aware of where you don't have control. And instead, we surrender to what's more inspired. We surrender to where it is that if we surrendered control, we would gain so much more. That's when the right balance is found. That's when we're working with the energy of this very powerful full moon to transform our circumstances in some way meaningful to us. From the inside, certainly, but the outside as well. I do think an anchoring point of this energy is going to be the sun. The sun right now is in the sign of Cancer, and it is the sun that is moving through this week with Mercury, close in the sky with Mercury. At the very beginning of the week, the sun will reach out and speak in harmony with Uranus, a sextile. And then on Wednesday, Mercury will make that same alignment with Uranus before the two planets meet with precision at the end of the week. Mercury and the sun meet rather frequently. It's not so unusual for them to connect in the sky. Mercury is never more than 2 signs away from the sun, and part of the retrograde sort of, realigns Mercury with the sun, because Mercury likes to travel faster in the sky than the sun. And yet we have this moment now. I think it is remarkable, on the one hand, to think of how Mercury is a symbol of intellect, of mind. The sun is a symbol of how it is that we are growing, where it is that we come to understand our center, our light, the things that light us up, how it is that we understand what it means to be more fully ourselves as we move through our lifetime. And the fact that Mercury meets the sun so often, I think, is rather interesting. It's like the heart understanding, and by heart I mean the central understanding of ourselves, has moments of illumination from time to time, as it is meant to. We are meant to become aware of some truth about ourselves. So truth is really emphasized at a time like this because of the way that Uranus is speaking in harmony with both the sun and Mercury now. With the sun and Mercury, but the sun in particular, in Cancer season, right? So we are at the height of summer. We've just began summer, rather. We are at the first phase of summer, the first full month of summer before we get to Leo. Leo is the height of summer. It is fixed fire. But right now we're at the mid-beginning of the summer season. And this is an opportunity to understand what home is differently for us. The different, that's Uranus, the fresh insights, Uranus and Mercury. It's about having new insights into what it means to be at home within ourselves, within our body, within our skin, that profound level of self-acceptance. It doesn't mean that if you want something to be different, you don't make it different. It doesn't mean that you don't get to celebrate your unique beauty, however it is that you define it, however it is that you want to. But there's something very powerful that happens when we're willing to be at peace with ourselves, all that we are, all that we have walked, everything that we have been. And to find all of it exhilarating is part of the gift of Uranus now. To be free from the regret of the past so that we can be more at home with ourselves now is the gift of the energy of this week. To have the understanding that frees us is part of the gift of this energy as well. Now, of course, there are more practical applications. Being more at home with family as you define it. Understanding genuine care, genuine nurturance in a way unique to you. Free from expectations that might be more traditional, in favor of family that you find and define for yourself. And so you may have noticed it's a little bit different right now where I am. I'll talk about this a little bit more once we get to the second portion of this video. I am in Panama City right now. I am sort of in a high-rise on a highway, which is why you hear a lot of background noise. Having said that, if you've watched me for a while, you know how much I love to travel. And part of the reason I love to travel is because I truly feel like everywhere you go, you really realize how much love there is in the world. You truly realize all the different ways in which you can find home in the world and within ourselves. And it's really this profound realization that can only be experienced, and that I really experience again and again anytime I travel. That's just one reason why I love it so much. Okay, having said that, this Cancer sun and all these wonderful connections that are being made is an invitation to understand home in a new way, in a way that frees you, that lightens you, that helps you to feel that much more open and excited about your future. Also this week, Venus in the sign of Gemini is making key contacts with other power players now. It is going to be on Wednesday that Venus will connect with Saturn in supreme harmony. Now this energy I really love. On the one hand, this is delayed gratification, seeing the benefits of it, reaping the benefits of it. It's also a sense of understanding the big picture, the long term, understanding what is going to get you to self-respect, Understanding how to align your heart with what it is you know is going to allow you to feel that sense of strength and groundedness within. It's behaving with maturity in a way that helps you to feel good about yourself. And particularly with Venus in the sign of Gemini, it is speaking with maturity that ultimately helps us and allows us to feel that much more clear, that much more grounded as to what our heart authentically wants, ensuring that we meet that need and not something more immediate and superficial. Now, contrast this with the energy that's happening the next day, which is like almost the exact opposite. It's Venus square Neptune. If Venus trine Saturn is not overindulging, Venus square Neptune is going way too far with the overindulgence. It is not necessarily seeing things clearly. It's pouring way too much energy, sacrificing way too much. Again, Venus in the sign of Gemini, it has to do with how much we're thinking about a thing, because Gemini is the sign of mind. But it's also where we are pouring our heart and our words and our heart coming together, and where that energy and those words are appreciated, and where perhaps we are wasting them, where perhaps there are some things that we think we want to say and we do say, but then we don't end up feeling any better for having said it. And so when I see this contrast of energies playing out side by side, it's literally like Venus trine Saturn, and 25 hours later, we get Venus square Neptune. So these energies are very close together, and they're happening almost simultaneously. It suggests a couple of things. On the one hand, we may find ourselves early in the week feeling more stable and strong and mature before we get to that place where we're able to recognize what our true, more vulnerable intentions are, despite our brave face. The other is that we may genuinely believe and behave in a way and speak in a way that is mature and loving one day, and then the next day, not so much. And that's okay as well. We are all complex and varied people. We may, on the one hand, have situations in our lives where there's love that is stable, that has an understanding, that grounds us, but also have love in our life that has us wondering if we're, again, wasting our energy. That feels disappointing, that feels disillusioning, or perhaps it's us that have mixed feelings. Perhaps it's us that's giving mixed messages. We can see a situation, we can see all that's good about it, and yet feel uncertain. That is part of this energy now. Now, regardless of how it is that you tap into this energy, how you realize this energy, understand that they're both pretty much simultaneous, which means that if you find yourself going way overboard, overindulging, emotion, alcohol, or otherwise, right? That's Venus square Neptune can do that. Well, with Saturn, we're able to rein it in. We're able to ensure that we behave and make choices in ways that fuel healthy self-respect. If we find ourselves being too rigid and too rational, we have this potential here to feel, even if it's hard, to allow ourselves to go there, even if it's not a good idea, just for the great story and just because we wanted to in the moment. You can know the right thing to do and choose to do something else anyways, and that's okay. Either is valid. What I love about this week for us, well, there's so much here. What a powerful time it is. I really can say that this full moon is the star of the show now. It is the center of power. All of us are going to feel a rise of emotion. All of us are going to feel changed in some way. Now, if we are willing to be honest with ourselves, bravely honest with ourselves, even if it's hard, on the other side, not only will we really like the change, but chances are we'll also find freedom. We'll find genuine hope that we have earned, and we'll find a more true sense of self that we can embrace and more fully be. Well, thank you so much for watching. What do you love about this week? Let me know in the comments below. I love reading you guys, and to prove it to you, here are some of my most recent favorite comments. Thank you to everybody who likes, who comments, who subscribes, who shares, who thumbs up, who hits the notification bell. All of it means so much. I'm so grateful for it. And of course, if you want to know how all this wonderful stuff this week speaks to you in your sign, you can log on to NadiyaShahSuperstars.com, where you get expanded, exclusive video scopes each and every week for each and every sign for as low as just $3 a month. With choose your membership rate. Higher tiers get you things like all access passes to Synchronicity University events, consultations with me, and so much more. All of this in the Superstar space. I look forward to meeting you there at NadiyaShahSuperstars.com. Link is in the description below. YouTube for astrologers at the world-renowned Kepler College. I feel so privileged, so grateful to be part of the faculty there at KEPLERCollege.org. Now, this is the only business class I teach each year in the summer months. And this year we are pretty much getting there. I think we're about 3/4 filled right now. We cap registration at 30. And I think as of right now, we've got something like 6 spots left in that range. This class always sells out. It always fills up. And it's starting in a week. In 1 week, we are going to start classes. So this really is like the last chance to sign up if you would like to explore having a spiritual business. Now, you don't need to be an astrologer. Any spiritual business, wherever it is that you want to understand your business as an expression of your spiritual journey, as an expression of your spiritual learning, that's part of what this class is about. And so it's lots of practical stuff, that's for sure. We look at the personal stuff as well. And so it is in the first class that we are having some astrology, helping you to look at that, to understand the best launch date, to understand your chart for the best placements for you in terms of how to best market yourself, how to best promote yourself, what kind of business, what kind of clients you want, all of that stuff. So we look at that in the very first class. And then we don't have a lot of astrology after that. The second class is the more practical stuff behind how to make a video. And then we actually give loving feedback on videos. Everybody has always said that they so appreciated this because it's absolutely loving. It's about you being able to see what's amazing about you when you use social media online. And especially now, because I've been growing my Instagram and my TikTok, I've really been learning so much about those different platforms as well. So I'm going to have so much more to add. But yeah, we're focusing here, yes, on YouTube, but really making videos, however it is that you are inspired to, whether it's short form videos like the shorts I post here, or the more traditional YouTube videos that can be much longer. And so we give loving feedback. And then the last 2 classes are very business oriented. So they're focused on things like making money, cultivating community, and so much more. So that's where we really look at the more practical matters, and you get to see behind the curtain. You get to understand all these different layers, all the different ways in which you support your entrepreneurial endeavor. And so, yes, mentorship is a big part of this. So that's why registration is always capped at 30, because if I don't do that, then the classes end up being like 6 hours long. As it is, the classes end up being at least a couple of hours each, if not longer, to really make sure that each person feels like their question was answered. But more importantly, also, with the assignments. So there's assignments each week. They're totally optional, but if you do them, then you also get that mentorship and direct feedback as well. So I hope that you will check that out. There's 1 week to go. This class always sells out, always. We've got less than a week actually, because classes start Saturday, this coming Saturday at KEPLERCollege.org. Link is in the description below, and I look forward to meeting you in class. Synchronicity University presents the one and only Acyuta-bhava Das. I am so excited to present this caliber of astrologer at Synchronicity University. And it is going to be Acyuta who's going to be teaching about the mystical roots of astrology. How perfect for what I'm about, what my channel's about, and certainly what his channel, his YouTube channel is about as well. Of course, you all know Acyuta-bhava Das. He has his own YouTube channel, NIGHTLIGHT Astrology. He is a star on YouTube, and he really is one of the best astrologers out there. He really knows his stuff. And so here he's going to be bringing together this traditional understanding, but also the mystical and the spiritual, and bring it together And the class really breaks it down. You look at the houses, the planets, and so much more here. You come to a depth of understanding as to the mystical layers of the different signs that perhaps sometimes get lost in more modern astrological interpretations. This really is a class to take if you want to deepen your spiritual understanding of your birth chart. And as you know, because you've seen him on my channel before and on his channel as well, Acyuta-bhava really is somebody who not only knows his stuff, but he brings so much love, so much wisdom, so much reverence to his astrological practice and his astrological interpretations. And so I'm really looking forward to this class. Of course, Choose Your Tuition Rate is on right now for a very limited time. And his class is going to start in September. So you can go to synchronicityuniversity.com. You can learn a whole lot more about this course and other classes as well. And you can sign up there for a limited time as low as just $5 a class with our world famous Choose Your Tuition Rate at synchronicityuniversity.com. Link is in the description below. And make sure you catch me in Denver, Colorado. Live events are back, and I am going to be speaking at the one and only Esar Conference this August, where 100 astrologers are going to be getting together to present, and even more astrologers are going to be there to have a party together. So I really hope that you will join us. I think that this is going to be amazing. It really is the biggest astrological gathering since the beginning of 2020. Actually, since late 2019. That's how long it's been since we met each other and gathered at this capacity. So I hope that you will join us. You can check out esar2022.org. Link is in the description below. And that is where you'll be able to see all the other speakers that are there. You'll be able to sign up. You'll learn a lot more about this incredible event. And I really look forward to meeting you there. Now, my time is going to be really limited, so I'm not doing any consultations in person. However, I'm all up for a hug. If you come to my talk and meet me, I'd love to hug you and have a moment with you. That would be amazing as well. And of course, my books are going to be available there. Sign my books, all of that stuff. And so, yes, check it out, esar2022.org. Link is in the description below. And thank you. I promised my mom I would tell you guys a story because now, yes, I am in Panama City. I love it. Whenever you see me with my hair like this, it means I'm somewhere really humid, and Panama City is humid. It has been incredible so far in terms of the people, in terms of the view, the city itself just feels so incredible. I will say something that happened was the airline lost my luggage. So the airline, I had to take 2 planes to get here. The plane from Toronto was like 5 hours late. And then I missed my second plane, but they automatically rebooked me for a different plane. And then my luggage wasn't here. And I had to wait like 3 days almost to get my luggage. And they delivered it at like midnight, like literally just a couple hours ago they delivered it, which was very exciting to me. But it was quite incredible to have this layered experience, right? I'm in a new city and I'm really happy and I'm really excited about that. But at the same time, I'm having to wear the exact same clothes that I wore on the airplane for so many days. I had like really very little with me. Just really my computer is what I take on board. And that's about it. And so that was kind of like, oh, but it was quite the adventure. Like, checking in with reception again and again with where I'm staying, trying to figure out, trying to contact people and stuff like that. But then they called me. It was like 9 o'clock at night or something. And they said, hey, we found your luggage. Do you want us to deliver it or do you want to pick it up? I was like, bring it over. And so it's so interesting also because it made me think about how much we actually need. And, it works both ways. Like we really need so little, but then so many little things bring so much pleasure. So again, if you've watched me for a while, I love makeup. Some people don't get it, some people don't understand, and that's fine. But I have always, since day one, loved makeup. Like to me, it makes me feel like a little girl. It's the only thing really in my life that makes me feel like a kid again, because when I was a child, I remember doing my makeup and stuff. And watching my mom do her makeup and wanting to emulate that, So some of these very strong memories I have are of watching my mom put on her makeup and just how beautiful she was always and is, but how she would love the process of making herself. And so to me, it's the process that I love so much. And so to not have that was huge for me. It was like, oh my God, what do I do? And and so yeah, I was on a bit of a mission, even just for a couple of days to try and get something, but having faith that the luggage would show up, all of that stuff. So yeah, I wanted to share that because of that very profound understanding I had that, so often we say we need so little, right? We really need so little. We don't even realize how little we need. And yes, that's true. But the little things also bring so much richness to life. They bring these moments of pleasure, of play, of fun, of joy, of connection, of self-knowledge, of spirit. It's those little things that can do that. And sometimes, yeah, it's the big things as well. It's all about how we judge it. But it was interesting to me to have this realization, and I hope that right now, under the light of this full moon that we're moving towards, and especially with Venus trine Saturn, I think that this is the perfect lesson to be having. It is the exact distinction that we are meant to make right now. And I'll have a lot to share about Panama City in the weeks ahead, and I look forward to that as well. And thank you. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your trust. And thank you for always coming with me. Wherever I go in the world, you guys are with me. And I absolutely love that about my work as well. So yeah, thanks. And thanks again for watching. Until we connect again, take care. And it'll be a great week. Enjoy.